Hey everybody, Plated here, and welcome to another edition of Plated Bits. Today's question, which is, what happened to my column, is brought to us by my good friend Sally. And if you'd like your question answered, please make sure to leave it in the comments below. Also, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when we post our next video. Remember, you can join me live every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights on twitch.tv/plated, as well as right here on YouTube with our Plated channels, Plated Tech and Plated GG. All right, you know what time it is. When OS vendors such as Microsoft and Apple decide to update their operating systems, they also like to make cosmetic or visual changes to their built-in apps. Apple's no exception to this. Actually, they probably lead the field. And this has been the case over the last few releases of the macOS. So my friend Sally, who had been using macOS Catalina since it came out, had gotten used to the way that Catalina used flags. So when she upgraded to macOS 11 Big Sur, she was shocked to find that she could not find her flag column. And she was like, okay. And no, she normally comes to me with these after she's gone through it. She's very, very good and very technical. And so she usually says, okay, doctor, how do I fix this? And normally it's a stumper, and this one was actually a stumper until I stumbled upon it. So let's wind back to macOS 10.14 Mojave and take a look at how Apple Mail has worked since Apple Mail's been Apple Mail. All right, so here we have macOS 10.14 Mojave. It's running in a virtual machine, as all of our test OSs are. And here, for demonstration purposes, we have marked Walmart, an email from Walmart with a flag, a green flag. Now, as Apple Mail has basically always worked, and other mail clients such as Outlook and Thunderbird, etc., has worked, you have multiple columns up here, and you can resize the columns to suit your tastes, etc. And one of the columns that we have here is a flag column. And you can sort mail by clicking on any one of these columns. You see the up caret here, and that means that we're sorting by the date received. And if we change that, that's oldest to newest. If we change that, then it's newest to oldest. Okay? And so this is unread. This is flagged from, subject, etc. You can go in here and you can add columns that, the author, the mailbox it came from, because you can have multiple mailboxes inside your inbox here, the size, the to, and the sort by, right? So there's a lot of options here. And this is how I'm used to it working. But Sally had been using macOS 10.15 Catalina. So let's take a look at the differences there. Okay, so here we have macOS 10.15 Catalina Mail. This is Apple Mail, and you can see right away that there's a huge difference. Now, a little background, 10.15 Catalina was Apple's first OS to include a technology called Catalyst. Now, what Catalyst is, it allows developers to bring applications that were written for iOS or the iPad OS and bring them over to macOS to allow you to run them basically unmodified. And Apple, in order to do a good job of it, decided that it wanted to eat its own dog food, so to speak. And so therefore they brought over a lot of their own in-house or internal apps like Mail, Calendar, Notes, etc. over via Catalyst for Catalina. That's a lot of C's. Say all that 5 times fast. So the difference you can see right away is there's no real columns here, right? This is what we're used to on iOS when we check our email on our iPhones. And even down to the unread mail icon here. So we can filter by unread and not filter by unread. right? And of course, it also loses where I was. So let's go back here. There's our flag, makes it easy to pick up. And so we're back to where we were. Now here you can sort by date, attachment, flags, which is what Sally was doing, from, size, subject, and you can go oldest to newest on top. But you'll notice that there are a lot less options, and you can't add or remove columns here. The columns you see are the columns you get. If you right click it, right, this is what you get, okay? You changes the sort or the from, that's it. You do not add or remove columns. So let's go over to macOS 11 or Big Sur and see the changes again that were made to the mail client. Okay, so here we have macOS 11 Big Sur. And you'll see that I have the mail client up. And wow, this looks a whole lot more like Mojave Mail than it does Catalina Mail. And the reason for that is Apple again upgraded its Catalyst function. These are still the same apps that were in the previous ones. They're brought over from iOS, but now you can see their updated Catalyst allows them to make it very Mac-like instead of sort of Mac-like. This, in my opinion, is a huge upgrade because we're back to where we were. Now, you'll also see here that, wait, where are my flags? So this is what Sally was concerned about. She couldn't find her flags. And, you know, while you could go to the smart mailbox here that says flagged, and it would show the flagged email, she doesn't like doing that because it takes you out of context and where it is, etc. And what she used to be able to do was sort by flag. But how can you sort by flag when you don't have a flag column? And if you go to view, you can change the sort by, and you might see it here, but there is no column to do it without going to the menu, right? So she asked me to take a look at this and see if I could help her out. Now, again, knowing that she was on Catalina, and I'm looking at Big Sur, and I'm going, wow, okay, well, you know what? It looks a lot like the old Apple Mail. Couldn't be this easy, could it? But, you know, you got to try the obvious first. So I right-clicked, and for those of you with a one-button mouse, it's control, but you hold down the control key and click, and that'll get you a right-click equivalent. There is back to my, wow, there are all of my column options. And I have my sort by. Now, this is exactly what we saw in Mojave. So if I go to flags, there it is, the flags field, and I can now sort by it. And so everything's good to go. And the difference is that by default, so you can see we so you can see that we sorted by flag. But the difference here is that by default, it doesn't come with the column enabled. So it's there, it's in your mail record, but it is not available for viewing by default. So you have to actually add it. So let's bring this back to date. And again, that's one thing that still annoys me is it doesn't go back to the way you had the date sorted. So we're back to the way it was sorted before. So I called her up and I'm like, Sally, you're not going to believe this. And we walked through it and she was like, wow, okay. And, you know, again, if you've been on Catalina for the last year, you get used to how it works. And so she was looking for it the way Catalina had it. And when actually what Apple did was they reverted back to the way the Mojave client worked, which in my opinion is better, but there you go. And that's it. Folks, I hope this has helped you, even if it's just a little bit. Heck, that's why I would call it PlatedBits. So in this day and age, please stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next video.